Ethan Ward had always thought life in space was predictable. Flying between colonies, checking sensors, and scanning the empty darkness of the outer belts had become routine. He liked the quiet and the rhythm of his life. Yet nothing about the day he found the alien girl was normal. It began with a small blip on the Starhawk's long-range scanner. At first, Ethan ignored it. He had seen hundreds of signals like this, distress signals, debris, false alarms. But something about this one made him uneasy. The blip was faint, almost hidden in the static of the asteroid belt. The signal was weak, but it repeated in a rhythm that seemed deliberate. "Captain," Ethan said, pointing at the screen, "there's something out there. It's faint, but I think someone or something is alive." Captain Lorne, a tall man with a permanent frown and hair graying at the temples, looked over Ethan's shoulder. "Ethan, we've got schedules to follow. Outer belt patrol isn't for babysitting unknowns. The signal is probably a glitch." Ethan shook his head. "No, sir. This is real. It's a life signal. Someone could be dying out there." The captain sighed and rubbed his forehead. "Ethan, I don't like this. If we go out there, we risk the ship. You've got your orders. We patrol the belt and report back." Ethan's heart beat faster. He had always followed orders, but something inside him pushed him to act. "Captain, if we ignore this, it could be someone's last chance." "I can go alone if you don't want to risk the crew." The captain hesitated. He could see the determination in Ethan's eyes. After a long pause, he nodded reluctantly. "Fine, but be careful. Don't do anything reckless." Ethan prepared the small scout pod for the journey. It was cramped, built for a single pilot and equipped with life support scanners and basic shields. He climbed inside and closed the hatch, feeling the hum of the engines beneath him. The pod detached from the Starhawk and drifted toward the signal. The asteroid belt stretched endlessly before him. Jagged rocks floated in silence, casting strange shadows as distant stars lit them. The blip grew stronger as he moved closer. Soon he saw it, a wrecked shuttle torn apart, spinning slowly among the asteroids. Smoke and sparks came from broken panels and a small dim light flickered inside. Ethan's stomach tightened. He maneuvered the pod carefully. Debris spun around, some pieces larger than his pod. One wrong move could tear it apart. He took a deep breath and nudged the controls, edging closer to the shuttle. Inside he saw movement, a small, fragile figure. The being looked human at first, but the skin was pale blue, and the eyes shimmered silver in the dim light. Ethan's heart skipped. She was alive, barely. Her breathing was shallow and blood stained the floor of the shuttle. Without hesitation, Ethan opened the pod's docking clamp and floated toward her. Every second counted. He could see that she was unconscious, her hands twitching slightly. "Hold on," he whispered. "I've got you." He carefully lifted her into his arms, feeling the warmth of her fragile body. The moment he touched her, he felt a strange pulse, something unfamiliar yet alive. Her skin was cool to the touch, and her hair shimmered like silver threads. Ethan pushed himself back toward the pod, struggling against the weight. "Come on, just a little further," he murmured. Finally, he managed to secure her inside. The pod's medical system scanned her quickly. Dr. Layla Ross, the ship's medic, was waiting on the Starhawk. She frowned at the readings. "Ethan, she's not human. The physiology is strange. Very advanced regenerative systems, but she's been poisoned. Her cells are struggling to repair the damage. I need samples to stabilize her fully." Ethan stayed close, refusing to leave her side. The girl coughed weakly, her silver eyes fluttering open. She tried to speak, but her voice was only a faint whisper. "You saved me," she said in a strange melodic tone. The translator on her neck glowed, decoding the sound into words. Ethan felt a chill run down his spine. I'm Ethan Ward. You're safe now. We'll take care of you." She nodded faintly, closing her eyes again. "Ethan, life, debt, heart." Her words were broken, but the translator gave him the meaning. Life, debt, heart? The message was clear, even if he didn't fully understand. Over the next few hours, the medical team worked tirelessly. The girl, whom they later learned was named Kayla, slowly stabilized. Ethan never left her side. He adjusted oxygen levels, checked her vitals, and watched as she grew stronger. As she rested, Ethan looked around the small med bay. The walls were covered with human technology, blinking lights and screens displaying vital signs. Yet none of it mattered. All he could think about was the girl in front of him. She was small but seemed ancient in some way, like she carried knowledge and secrets far beyond his understanding. Finally, Kayla opened her eyes fully, She looked at him, really looked as if seeing him for the first time. "You, my heart," she said, her voice stronger now. Ethan blinked. "My heart?" he asked, unsure if he understood. Her eyes glowed faintly. "Verini, life debt, you own heart," she repeated slowly. Ethan chuckled nervously. I didn't do this for, I saved you." "That's it?" Kayla's gaze held his. It was not just gratitude. There was intensity, something he had never seen in a human. "No one else," she said softly. "Only you." Ethan felt a strange connection, one he could not explain. Something had changed, and he could sense it deep in his chest, a warmth spreading like fire. He realized then that this girl, this alien from a distant world, had marked him in a way that could not be undone. For the rest of the day, Ethan stayed by her side. He explained human life, human ships, and human customs in small, simple words. Kayla listened intently, asking questions about everything: food, ships, stars, even simple emotions. Her silver eyes sparkled with curiosity, and Ethan found himself smiling, laughing quietly at her wonder. By nightfall, the Starhawk was calm. The crew had begun to accept Kayla's presence, though many whispered in awe and fear. She was an alien, unknown, but she had chosen to trust a human, and that human was Ethan. Kayla lay on the medbay cot, her small hand brushing against Ethan's. "You, my heart," she repeated, as if saying it would make it true. Ethan smiled softly, unsure what to say. "I'll take care of you, Kayla, that's all I can promise." She nodded, closing her eyes. Yet even as she slept, Ethan knew that life had shifted. Something bigger, something extraordinary had begun, and he realized that saving her life had not only saved her, it had changed him in ways he could not yet understand. The stars outside the bay shimmered like tiny diamonds in the black void. Ethan sat quietly watching her breathe, knowing that this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, full of danger and full of secrets, and somewhere in the endless darkness their story had begun. Days passed on the Starhawk, and Kayla slowly regained her strength. She spent most of her time in the medbay, but she refused to stay idle. Her silver eyes followed Ethan everywhere, studying him, asking questions, learning everything about humans. Ethan had expected her to be shy, weak, or scared. But Kayla was none of those things. She was curious, brave, and surprisingly intelligent. Even when she was too weak to stand for long periods, she listened intently to the ship's systems, the engines, and the hum of life support machines. "You humans are strange," she said one afternoon, watching Ethan fix a broken panel in the engine room. "Why do you repair something rather than make a new one?" Ethan wiped grease from his hands. "Sometimes fixing is faster, sometimes it's cheaper, and sometimes it matters who fixes it." He paused, noticing her expression. "What about your people? Do you always fix things?" Kayla tilted her head. "We replace. Quick, efficient. No waste of time. But I learned from you. Patience has value." Ethan smiled. "I'm glad I can teach you something, even if it's small." She looked at him, her silver eyes shining with a strange intensity. "Everything you do matters to me, Ethan Ward," she said softly. "You saved me. You own my heart." Ethan froze. He had heard the words before, but this time they felt heavier, realer. He laughed awkwardly. "Kayla, I don't understand what you mean. I just did what anyone would do." Her gaze did not waver. "No one else would risk their life. Only you." The words lingered in the quiet engine room. Ethan wanted to explain, to tell her that she was free, that she did not owe him anything, but the truth was, he did not want to let her go. There was something about her presence that made the empty spaces of the ship feel warmer. Life aboard the ship settled into a strange routine. Ethan and Kayla spent hours together. He taught her simple things: how to operate basic tools, how to navigate the ship, how to use the communication systems. She listened, learned, and often corrected him when he assumed humans always did things the same way. One evening, they sat together on the observation deck, watching the stars streak past the ship. The galaxy was quiet, calm, and infinite. "Humans love stars," Kayla said, tilting her head. "Why?" Ethan chuckled. "I think we see them as reminders. Reminders that we are small, but part of something bigger, something eternal." Kayla nodded slowly. "Verini, do not look at stars. We look at data, paths, resources. But this is Beautiful? She reached out, touching the cold glass of the window. Her fingers left a faint shimmer, a mark that glowed briefly before fading. Ethan stared at her hand. You're different, Kayla. In ways I can't explain. She turned to him, her expression serious. Because you saved me, Ethan Ward. You touched my life in a way no one else can. My people, they would see me as property, an object, a tool. But you see me as someone who can exist on my own. That is why my heart belongs to you. Ethan swallowed hard. He wanted to protest, to tell her that this was impossible, that humans and Varani were different, that bonds like hers were not real. But he could not. Every time he looked into her silver eyes, he felt an undeniable pull, a connection that made his chest tighten. Their quiet moment was interrupted by the ship's alarm. The sensors had detected movement, a small fleet of unknown ships approaching. Ethan quickly checked the scanners. Kayla, these ships, they're Varani. Her face went pale. They found me, she whispered. They know I am alive. Ethan's heart sank. Do they want to hurt you? Kayla nodded. They will not let me live. I broke their rules. I escaped. I disobeyed the council. Ethan turned to the crew. We can't let them take her. Prepare for evasive maneuvers. The crew scrambled to follow orders. Weapons were ready, shields activated, engines humming at full power. The Starhawk was small compared to the approaching Varani fleet, but Ethan was determined. He would not let Kayla fall into their hands. As the Varani ships drew closer, Kayla moved beside him. They know our tactics, she said, her voice calm despite the danger. I can guide you. Trust me, Ethan nodded. Lead the way. For hours, they navigated through asteroid fields, dodging plasma blasts and laser fire. Kayla's knowledge of Varani technology and combat strategies saved them more than once. Ethan realized then that she was not just a fragile alien girl. She was capable, clever, and brave. At one point, a large Varani ship closed in, blocking their path. Ethan gritted his teeth. We can't outrun them forever. Kayla studied the ship on the screen. Wait for my signal, now. She pointed to a narrow passage between two massive asteroids. Ethan steered sharply. The Varani ship fired, but the rocks blocked the shots. They slipped through the gap, leaving the pursuers behind. When the danger finally passed, Ethan exhaled, leaning against the console. You saved us both, he said quietly. Kayla smiled faintly, brushing a lock of silver hair from her face. No, Ethan, you saved me first. That is why. My heart is yours, Ethan laughed nervously. Kayla, your heart. You keep saying that. I don't know if I can accept it. She looked at him earnestly. It is not a gift. It is a truth. Life debt, bond, Varani tradition. When someone saves a Varani life, our hearts are linked. You saved me. You own my heart. That is reality, not choice. Ethan rubbed his forehead. Reality. That's complicated. I didn't ask for this, she shook her head. No one asks, Ethan Ward, but the bond is real. You feel it, yes? He hesitated. Could he admit it? Yes, he felt it. Every time she looked at him, every time she spoke, a part of him responded in a way he had never known. It was not just gratitude, it was connection, trust, something deeper. I do, he admitted softly. Kayla's silver eyes softened. Then you understand. You cannot deny it. We are linked. After that night, their bond grew stronger. Kayla followed him everywhere, learning from him, laughing with him, and sometimes challenging him. She asked questions about humans and human ways, and Ethan answered patiently, amazed at her intelligence and curiosity. The crew began to notice their closeness. Some whispered in awe, some in fear, but Ethan ignored them. He only focused on Kayla, her presence, and the strange comfort she brought to the vast loneliness of space. One afternoon, while repairing a damaged shield generator, Ethan paused. Kayla hovered beside him, watching carefully. Why do you risk yourself so much? She asked. Ethan smiled wryly. Because I can't ignore someone in danger. And maybe because I don't want to lose you. Her eyes widened slightly. You feel it too? I do, he admitted. I can't explain it, but yes, I feel it, and I think I like it. Kayla's lips curved into a small smile. Then the bond is mutual. My heart is yours. And now I think you are mine. For a long time they worked in silence. The stars streaked past the observation deck, The engines hummed in the distance and the ship floated through the endless darkness. Yet in that moment everything felt close, warm, and alive. Ethan realized then that the rescue had not just saved Kayla, it had changed him. It had given him a purpose, a bond stronger than any duty or order. And Kayla, she had given him something he did not expect. Trust, affection, and a connection that went beyond words. But even as they laughed and shared small moments of happiness, danger was never far away. The Varini Council would not forget Kayla's escape. Their pursuit had already begun, and sooner or later they would come back. For now, though, they were together, learning from each other, growing closer. And Ethan knew that no matter what came next, he would protect her with everything he had, because he had saved her life once. And now she had given him something far greater. The Starhawk floated quietly through the dark stretch of space, but the calm did not last long. Ethan knew that the Varini would not give up so easily. Kayla had warned him, and the small signs of movement on the scanners confirmed his fear. "Ethan," Kayla said, pointing at the screen, "they are tracking us. Not just one ship, there are several. They know I am here and they will not stop until they get me." Ethan frowned, gripping the controls. "How many?" She counted silently, her silver eyes scanning the readouts. At least 6, possibly more waiting beyond the asteroids. "They are fast and they are relentless." He took a deep breath. "Then we will not let them catch us. Prepare for evasive maneuvers. I'll take the risk if it keeps you safe." Kayla nodded, her expression calm, almost serene. "Trust me, Ethan, I know their tactics. Follow my instructions and we can escape." The Starhawk shuddered as Ethan powered up the engines. The small ship was fast but vulnerable, no match for 6 Varini interceptors in a straight fight. They had to rely on speed, agility, and the cover of the asteroid belt. "Evasive pattern Alpha," Kayla instructed. "Steer left, then dive behind that cluster. Use the shadows." Ethan adjusted the controls, dodging massive floating rocks that could crush the ship in an instant. Laser fire streaked past, striking asteroids and exploding in sparks. Kayla's voice was calm, precise, guiding him through the chaos. "Now sharp right. No, wait, hold. They expect a right. Use the gap above." The ship spun, narrowly avoiding a collision. Ethan's heart pounded. Every second mattered. One wrong move and they would be caught. Or worse. Kayla leaned close to the controls, pointing to a narrow passage between 2 massive asteroids. "Through here. They cannot follow at this speed." Ethan pushed the engines to their limit, the pod lurching as they shot through the gap. He looked back briefly. 2 of the Varini ships had crashed into the asteroid walls, unable to maneuver as quickly as the Starhawk. Kayla exhaled softly. "Good, but more are coming. We cannot stop moving." Hours passed in tense silence. The crew worked tirelessly, adjusting shields, monitoring engines, and following Ethan's commands. Kayla stayed by his side, pointing out the best routes, reading the enemy's likely moves. Despite the danger, Ethan felt a strange comfort in her presence. She was fearless, focused, and entirely devoted to keeping him alive. During a brief pause, Ethan sat down beside her in the control room. Sweat ran down his face, his hands shaking slightly from tension. Kayla looked at him, her silver eyes reflecting the dim lights of the ship. "You are tired," she said softly. "Let me guide you for a while." "Rest your hands," Ethan shook his head. "I cannot rest. Not while they are out there. Not while you are in danger." Kayla smiled faintly. "You saved me once, Ethan Ward. Now it is your turn to trust someone else." He hesitated, but finally nodded. "All right. I trust you." Kayla took over some of the controls, guiding the ship through the asteroid belt with precision. Ethan watched her, amazed at her skill. She had been in trouble, almost dying in that wrecked shuttle, yet now she moved with confidence, almost like a natural pilot. "Ethan," she said quietly, "do you understand why they chase me?" He shook his head. "I know it has to do with your people, but I don't know the details. Can you explain?" Kayla's expression darkened. "I am the daughter of the Varini Council leader. They had arranged a merging for me, an alliance through obedience. I refused. I escaped. That is why they pursue me. They will not let me live freely." Ethan's eyes widened. "Your royalty?" She nodded. "Yes, but that means nothing. My title makes me a target, not a person." The ship shuddered as a warning shot passed close. Ethan's hands gripped the controls tightly. "Then we have no choice. We run until we find safety." Kayla leaned closer, her hand brushing his arm. We can survive, Ethan. If we work together, we are stronger than they expect. He swallowed hard, feeling the warmth of her touch. It was comforting, grounding him amidst the chaos. Then let's do it. For the next few hours, they moved through the asteroid belt, dodging enemy ships, using the shadows, and predicting the Varani's moves. Kayla's guidance was flawless. She anticipated attacks, pointed out ambushes, and suggested maneuvers Ethan would have never thought of. At one point, a massive Varani cruiser appeared, blocking their path. Ethan's stomach tightened. Kayla, we can't go around this one. It's too big. She studied the ship on the display. Wait, there is a weak point. Near the engines. If we time it right, we can pass through while they are distracted by the smaller ships. Ethan nodded. All right, show me. Together they executed the maneuver. The Starhawk darted toward the cruiser's engines, firing minimal countermeasures to distract the larger ship. A volley of plasma blasts flew past, some hitting the ship's shields, but Ethan held steady. Kayla's instructions guided him through, and they slipped past the cruiser, disappearing into the shadows of the asteroid field. When the immediate danger was gone, Ethan leaned back, breathing heavily. That was close. Kayla smiled faintly, brushing a strand of silver hair from her face. We survived. Because we worked together. Ethan looked at her, feeling a deep connection. Kayla, I don't know how to say this, but I'm glad you are here. I'm glad I saved you. She tilted her head, her silver eyes locking onto his. And I am glad I was saved. My heart belongs to you, Ethan. Do you understand? He hesitated, then nodded slowly. Yes, I understand, and I think mine belongs to you too. Her eyes softened, and for a moment the tension of the chase, the war, and the fear disappeared. There was only them, floating in the quiet of space. Hearts connected in a bond neither fully understood. But their relief was short-lived. The scanners began to beep, signaling more Varani ships entering their path. Ethan swore under his breath. They never give up. Kayla placed her hand on his shoulder. Then we continue, together, always together. Ethan felt a surge of determination. They were small, just a single ship against a fleet, but he would protect her at all costs. No Varani, no rule, no council could take her from him. As the next wave of ships approached, Ethan adjusted the shields, powered up the engines, and braced for the fight ahead. Kayla's voice was calm and steady beside him, guiding him through every move. Her presence was a constant reminder that he was not alone. Through the long night, they evaded attack after attack. The Varani were relentless, but Kayla's knowledge and Ethan's skill kept them alive. They moved as one, the bond between them growing stronger with every maneuver, every near miss, every heartbeat shared in the tension of survival. Hours turned into a full cycle, and the fleets finally fell back, perhaps regrouping for another assault. Ethan slumped into the captain's chair, exhausted but alive. Kayla sat beside him, her hand resting on his arm. You survived, she said softly. We survived. And our bond grows stronger. Ethan looked at her, seeing not just an alien girl, but a companion, a friend, and perhaps something more. Yes, we survived. Because we trust each other. Kayla smiled faintly. And because my heart is yours, forever. Ethan's chest tightened. He realized then that saving her had been only the beginning. The real challenge was protecting her, guiding her, and standing by her side no matter what the galaxy threw at them. Outside the ship, the stars stretched endlessly, a reminder of the vast dangers and possibilities ahead. Ethan knew the Varani would not give up easily, but he also knew that he and Kayla had something stronger than any fleet or weapon. Their bond, their trust and their hearts connected across the void of space, and so they continued flying through the darkness, facing threats and growing closer with each passing moment. Their story was only beginning, but for the first time, Ethan felt a sense of purpose beyond duty or orders. He was no longer just a pilot. He was a protector, a friend, and perhaps one day the keeper of Kayla's heart in return. The Starhawk had moved far from the asteroid belt, but Ethan knew that danger was never far behind. The Varani were clever, persistent, and relentless. Yet in the quiet moments as the ship glided through the black emptiness of space, Kayla seemed calm, almost peaceful. Ethan wondered how she could stay so composed after everything they had faced. Ethan, Kayla said one morning as they watched the stars drift by, there is something you must know. Something important about me. Ethan turned to her, sensing the seriousness in her tone. What is it? She hesitated, as if choosing her words carefully. You know I am not like other beings. I am Vareni. But there is more. I am the daughter of the council leader, the one who rules our people. Ethan blinked. Your own father? The council leader, that's why they are chasing you, isn't it? Kayla nodded. Yes. They had planned for me to merge with another of our kind, a union arranged by the council to strengthen alliances. I refused, I ran, and now they seek me to force obedience. Ethan's stomach tightened. He had known she was special, but royalty? That changed everything. So, you're a target because of your status? Yes, Kayla said softly. To them, I am not a person. I am a tool, a resource. But I escaped, and now I'm with you. Ethan reached out and took her hand. Kayla, I don't care who you are. I only care that you are alive and I will protect you. Her eyes glimmered with gratitude. I know. That is why my heart belongs to you. You saved me when no one else could. Now my life, my heart, everything is yours. Ethan felt a warmth in his chest. Her words, though alien in origin, made him feel something deep, something that went beyond logic or duty. He squeezed her hand gently. And my heart belongs to you too. Their moment was interrupted by a warning alarm. The scanners detected a large fleet of Vareni ships approaching. Ethan's eyes widened. They found us again. They must have tracked our route from the asteroid field. Kayla stood beside him, her posture calm but alert. They know my location now. We must move carefully. If we make a mistake, they will capture us both. Ethan nodded. Then we do not make mistakes. We plan, we move, and we survive together. The Starhawk's crew scrambled to prepare the ship. Shields were raised. Engines powered to maximum and weapons readied. But Ethan knew that a direct fight was impossible. The Vareni ships were too numerous, too advanced. They needed strategy, cunning, and speed. Kayla moved to the navigation console. There is a planet nearby, she said. Uncharted remote. Its atmosphere can mask our signals. If we reach it, we may find temporary safety. Ethan adjusted the course. Then that's where we go. Can you guide me through their fleet? Yes, Kayla said confidently.
Follow my instructions.
Trust me. For hours, they navigated through a dangerous path, dodging attacks, using asteroids and debris for cover, and predicting the enemy's moves. Ethan was amazed at her skill. She seemed to know their tactics instinctively, her mind moving faster than any humans could. At one point, a Vareni ship closed in directly behind them. Ethan's hands shook slightly as he powered the engines.
Kayla, this one is fast.
I don't know if we can outrun it. She studied the controls quickly. We can, but we must be clever. I know a shortcut through the asteroid belt ahead. We can slip through, but it will be dangerous. Ethan nodded. Lead the way. Following her instructions, they maneuvered the ship with precision, narrowly avoiding collisions and enemy fire. Kayla guided him through the twists and turns of the field, predicting the enemy's moves as if she could read their minds. In moments of high tension, Ethan realized that her presence was more than just helpful, it was essential. Without her, they would not survive. Finally, after hours of constant movement, the immediate threat faded. They had reached the outskirts of the uncharted planet. Ethan exhaled, leaning back in his seat. That was too close. Kayla smiled faintly, brushing a strand of silver hair from her face. We survived. Because we work together, and because our bond strengthens with each trial. Ethan looked at her, feeling the truth in her words. Yes, we are stronger together. I never thought I could feel this way about someone so different, but I do. Kayla, you've changed me. She placed her hand on his arm, her touch gentle and grounding. And you have changed me, Ethan Ward. You saved my life, and in doing so you gave me freedom. I belong to you, not to my people, not to anyone else. They stayed in silence for a moment, letting the reality of their bond sink in. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, a reminder of the vastness and dangers of space. But inside the small ship, there was warmth, trust, and connection. Ethan finally spoke. Kayla, I need to know more about your people. If they are as dangerous as you say, we need to be prepared. Tell me everything, she nodded. The Vareni are strict. We follow a hierarchy, and the council controls almost every aspect of life. Obedience is expected and disobedience is punished. Those who escape are hunted. That is why I had to run, Ethan frowned. And the merging? What is that? Kayla's eyes darkened. It is a union arranged by the council to strengthen alliances. The individuals have no choice. The merging links us physically and mentally. My life would have been controlled. My mind, my decisions all taken from me. I refused. That is why I ran. Ethan's hands clenched. So they want to capture you to force you into it. Yes, she said simply. And if they cannot, they may destroy me. That is why I warned you. This is bigger than us. But I trust you, Ethan. That is why I am here with you instead of running alone. Ethan looked at her, feeling a surge of determination. I will protect you, Kayla, no matter what. If they want to take you, they will have to go through me first. Her eyes softened, her expression gentle. I know. That is why my heart belongs to you. You are the one I trust, the one I chose. Not because of duty, but because of connection, because of life, because of trust. Ethan swallowed hard. He realized that saving her had not only given her life, but had also given him purpose, a reason to fight, and someone worth protecting beyond orders, beyond duty, beyond reason. They prepared to land on the uncharted planet. Ethan piloted the ship carefully, while Kayla guided him through the atmosphere, avoiding storms, dangerous terrain, and unstable zones. The planet was harsh, with jagged cliffs, deep valleys, and thick clouds, but it offered cover. Once they landed, they would be able to hide temporarily and plan their next move. As they descended, Ethan glanced at Kayla. We made it this far. But it's only the beginning. We have to be ready for what comes next. She smiled faintly. I am ready, Ethan. With you, I am ready for anything. The ship touched down with a soft tremor. Ethan exhaled, relieved. Outside, the planet stretched into the distance. Wild and uncharted, full of unknown dangers, but also offering safety. For now. Ethan and Kayla stepped onto the surface, feeling the alien soil beneath their feet. For a moment, they allowed themselves to rest. The stars shone above them, distant but constant, and the planet's strange terrain offered the illusion of peace. Ethan looked at Kayla. We survived. And we will continue to survive together. Kayla reached for his hand. Yes, together. Our bond is real, Ethan, and nothing can break it. He squeezed her hand gently. Then we keep moving. We keep fighting. And we keep each other safe, no matter what. As they stood there side by side, Ethan realized that the galaxy was dangerous, full of threats and enemies. But they had something stronger than any weapon or fleet, their trust, their bond, and their hearts connected across the void of space. For the first time, he understood that saving her life had been only the beginning. The real journey had started now, and it would test everything they had: skill, courage, and the power of the human heart. Together, they would face whatever the universe sent at them. And together they would survive. The Starhawk rested on the surface of the uncharted planet, its engines quiet and shields holding strong against the thin atmosphere. Ethan stood at the observation window, looking out at the jagged terrain below. He knew the Varani would not stop. They were relentless, patient, and determined. Kayla's life and perhaps their futures depended on the choices they made now. Kayla walked beside him. Ethan, she said quietly, I have been thinking. They will come for me. The Council will not leave this alone. You may be in danger as much as I am. Ethan turned to her, determination in his eyes. Kayla, I don't care about danger. I saved you once and I will protect you again. Whatever comes, we face it together. She looked at him, her silver eyes reflecting the distant stars. You are brave, like no human I have met. I do not know how to thank you enough. My life, my heart, they are yours, Ethan. But I fear that the challenge ahead may be greater than we imagine. He took her hand in his. Then we prepare. And we will survive. That's all that matters. The crew worked quickly, setting up temporary shields and defensive systems on the planet's surface. Ethan and Kayla walked through the ship's corridors, coordinating with the crew and planning their next move. The Varani would not give up easily, and intelligence suggested that more ships were on the way. Hours passed. The sky darkened as a storm formed on the horizon. Ethan watched the clouds twist and churn. They will try to use the storm to mask their approach, he said. We cannot stay hidden for long. Kayla nodded. Then we must act before they arrive. We must show them that I am free and will not be taken back. I will not obey, Ethan. I choose my life. Ethan felt a surge of pride. Her words were strong, brave, and fearless. Then we make them see it. Together. They prepared the ship for takeoff. Shields were raised, weapons armed, and the engines hummed with potential energy. The storm above roared, but Ethan and Kayla were ready. As they lifted off, the scanners lit up. Varani ships appeared on every side, their sleek forms cutting through the storm clouds. The fleet had come in full force. Ethan's jaw tightened. Kayla, they mean business, she leaned beside him. Then we show them we are serious. Trust me, Ethan. The Starhawk surged forward, weaving through the enemy fleet with precision. Kayla guided him through gaps in the storm, using her knowledge of Varani tactics to anticipate every attack. Plasma blasts streaked past, explosions lit the clouds, and the air shook with the power of the storm. One of the larger Varani ships moved to block them. Ethan's hands clenched the controls. We can't go around it. What now? Kayla pointed to a narrow canyon on the planet's surface. Through there. They cannot follow at full speed. Their size works against them. Trust me. Ethan nodded and pushed the engines to their limit. The Starhawk dove into the canyon, narrowly avoiding cliffs and jagged rocks. The Varani ship tried to follow but struggled in the tight space, its massive hull scraping against the canyon walls. When they emerged from the canyon, Ethan exhaled. That was too close. Kayla smiled faintly. We survived, and we will survive more, together. But the celebration was brief. Communications lit up. The Varani Council had issued a broadcast to the galaxy, declaring Kayla a fugitive. They demanded her surrender or threatened retaliation. Ethan clenched his fists. They don't understand. She is not theirs to command. She is alive and she is free. Kayla turned to him, her expression serious. Then we make them see it. Ethan, this may be our only chance to end this without war. He nodded. Then we do it. Together they transmitted a message across human and Varani frequencies. Kayla spoke clearly, her voice strong and unwavering. I am Kayla of the Varani. I refuse the Council's command. I will not obey, I am free. I choose humanity. I choose life. And I choose Ethan Ward. The message spread like wildfire. Across the galaxy, both humans and Varani listened. The Council's fleet faltered, confused by her defiance. Humans watched, realizing the courage it took for a Varani royal to openly oppose her people. Ethan felt Kayla's hand on his arm. They cannot fight what they cannot control, she whispered. We show them strength through choice, not weapons. He nodded, feeling a surge of pride. She was right. Her courage, her defiance, and their bond were stronger than any fleet or weapon. The Varani fleet hesitated. For the first time, they realized that Kayla would not submit. Their orders could not bind her mind or spirit. Slowly, the fleet withdrew, leaving the Starhawk free to navigate the stars. Ethan exhaled, relief washing over him. We did it. Kayla, we're safe. For now. Kayla's silver eyes softened, and she smiled. We are safe because we are together. Because we trust each other. My life, my heart, they are yours, Ethan, forever. He reached for her hand. And mine is yours, Kayla. Always. They embraced, standing together on the deck as the stars shimmered above them. The storm had passed, and the galaxy seemed calm, peaceful for the first time since Kayla's escape. For hours, they watched the sky, speaking quietly about hopes, dreams, and the future. Kayla asked questions about humans, their culture, their families, and their history. Ethan answered patiently, fascinated by her curiosity and wisdom. As night fell over the planet, Ethan realized something profound. Saving Kayla had not just changed her life, it had changed his. He had found purpose, courage, and something he had never expected. Love and trust that crossed the boundaries of species and worlds. Kayla turned to him, her eyes shining. Ethan, do you understand now? Our bond is real. Life debt, heart, it is not just words. It is truth. And it is strong, Ethan smiled. Yes, I understand. And I would not trade it for anything. You are mine. And I am yours. Whatever comes, we face it together. She nodded, placing her hand over his chest. Then our hearts are linked. And no one, no power, no fleet can ever break that. Ethan felt the truth of her words, the connection, the warmth. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and unpredictable. But for the first time, he did not feel small or alone. He had Kayla and she had him. Together, they were stronger than any obstacle, any enemy, any challenge. Days passed. The Varani Council remained silent, likely regrouping and reconsidering their actions. The Starhawk moved to a hidden orbit, repairing damage and resupplying for future journeys. Ethan and Kayla spent their time together, learning more about each other, laughing, and finding comfort in their bond. One evening, Kayla approached Ethan as he worked on the ship's systems. Ethan, I want to see the galaxy. Not just hide. I want to explore, learn, and live. Ethan looked up, smiling. Then we do that, together. No hiding, no running. We take the stars as they come. Her smile was radiant, full of hope. And I will do it with you, my heart is yours always. Ethan reached out, brushing her hair from her face. And mine is yours, Kayla. Forever. You saved me too in ways I could not have imagined. Together they stood on the observation deck, watching the stars stretch endlessly across the void. The galaxy was full of dangers, unknowns, and challenges, but it was also full of possibilities. They were no longer just a pilot and a fugitive. They were partners bonded not by orders, rules, or duty, but by choice, trust, and the unbreakable connection of their hearts. As the Starhawk lifted from the planet, heading toward the unknown reaches of the galaxy, Ethan knew one truth above all. No matter what came next, they would face it together. Their bond was stronger than fear, stronger than danger, and stronger than the stars themselves. And in the endless expanse of space, that bond was the most powerful force of all. Kayla leaned against him, her head resting lightly on his shoulder. Ethan, I am yours, and you are mine. Ethan smiled, holding her close. Yes, Kayla, always. The galaxy stretched before them, full of wonder and possibilities, but they faced it side by side. Two hearts, one bond, one future, united across worlds, stronger than anything the universe could throw at them. And for the first time, Ethan felt truly alive.